What's up, everyone? Welcome to the Dungeons & Dragons 5th Edition Power Gamers Tactics Room. I'm your host, Bill Braun Bafflestone. So today we're having another episode of my Metagaming series, where I look at Dungeons & Dragons from a more holistic perspective. And today I wanted to talk about an article that I read that describes players as Timmy, Jonny, or Spike. You may or may not be familiar with this heuristic. I personally wasn't, and it was brought to my attention by a viewer, so thanks for that. But apparently it is based on an article that is considered famous. I don't know if that's true or not, but that's what I heard. From 2013 on a website called Making Magic. And it's about Magic the Gathering. So not necessarily about Dungeons & Dragons, but I do think that what they talk about does apply to Dungeons & Dragons. And it made me think, and so I wanted to do this video. So if you're not familiar, I have linked the article below and you can read it. I do think it's pretty badly written. It falls prey to that dynamic where they're really trying hard not to offend anybody, and so they don't really clearly communicate what the heck they're talking about. And there are a lot of qualifiers and stuff in there which were kind of contradictory, actually, to the point that they're trying to make. So I will summarize them here. What happened is that in the course of trying to figure out how to sell these games better, they created psychological profiles that describe how most players approach the game. And they discovered that there were Timmys who just wanted to have fun and weren't too concerned about their win-loss record, and they just wanted to throw out really cool, powerful abilities. Then you had Johnnies who really wanted to win, but they wanted to do so creatively and cleverly and not doing the same old, same old. And then you had the Spikes, who were the tournament players, who just wanted to win and were all about crunching the numbers and figuring out what was most powerful and then just doing it over and over and over and over, not really caring too much about creativity because they really just want to max out their win-loss record. And so I thought that this was pretty accurate when it comes to Dungeons & Dragons. I think Timmy's pretty clearly slot into role players. And then Johnnies and Spikes are two variants of power gamers that are out there. So I thought it was pretty good. So the first thing I want to mention is that whenever you start talking about psychological categorization and heuristics, there's always, from a certain percentage of the people that hear it, an immediate defensive response where they want to say, oh my God, how dare you try to categorize me? I'm a unique snowflake and I don't fit into any of those categories. I'm like a mix of all three and then all of this other stuff too. And, actually, let's look at my big 5 psychological profile and me. And I'm hoping we can avoid that here because it's not much value add. And I think it misses the point. This is not about categorizing a specific individual player. It's about having heuristical abstract categories so that we can discuss the matter in a sensible way. For example, no one is 100% introverted and no one is 100% extroverted. And yet we can talk about these things because we have abstract categories that we can apply as a general rule. So it's not about, this person being 100% introverted or 100% extroverted or what mix they are. The point is that they are abstract categories. And so I think that Timmy, Jonny, and Spike really work nicely as abstract categories, even though every individual player is going to be a hybrid of some kind and maybe some other kind of stuff. It's easy to degenerate into a conversation. Well, I'm a this and you're that, and okay. But in any case, I wanted to talk about the role-playing thing, the Timmy thing, because I'm on their side, I have to say. Even though this is the Power Gamers Tactics Room and, I'm trying to make a reputation as an optimizing, min-maxing, munchkin power gamer dude, when it comes to the actual gameplay, I'm all about role-playing first. My characters are not stats and numbers. They are their backstories, their personalities, their desires and fears, and all of that. And that to me is by far the most important thing. If you had to get rid of one aspect of any gaming system, you're getting rid of the rules, and you're just getting a bunch of people together, taking on certain roles, mutually writing a story, and everybody having fun. That is 100% the most important thing. And I empathize with role players because this is a complicated game. If you really want to do the power gaming thing, you got a lot of work ahead of you, right? I mean, I now understand the Battle Master class, and all it took was 24 hours of research and 16 hours of video creation, and I'm good to go. Just, 9 more archetypes in the fighter class to go, and then 12 more classes after that. And you're right, it's a lot of work. And if you're not into that, because it takes a certain type of mentality to get into that, you're not going to be too interested in anything other than the role play. And yeah, most players are like that and form the, majority of this game that we all love, and we all play together. And I'm cool, man. I like Timmy's, and I don't want to disrupt their game. And as a power gamer, like, that's honestly one of the most important things to me, is to not only create characters that I like, that are optimized and strong and powerful, but that also fit in to the group, that don't disrupt the role play and can bring it when it comes to the role play, and don't just kind of sit around and let other people do all the talking and you wait until you can finally unleash Great Weapon Master. Then in terms of the Johnnies and the Spikes, I thought that was a really nice distinction as well, because I kind of take a Jonny approach where I get a little bored with, the same old, and I get it that there are tried and true, awesome strategies and optimal strategies out there. But if everybody's doing it, I'm not interested. When I first came to the game, it was an all cleric campaign. And so my first question was like, what's the worst cleric? What's the worst one that everybody thinks is the worst? And they were like, Trickster. And I'm like, I'm Trickster. I didn't even know the rules at that point. But I wanted to make it work because I don't like doing the same thing that everybody else is doing, even if they're winning with it. My thing is that I like to win, but my way. That said, I get where the Spikes are coming from. There are, math is math, numbers are numbers, and numbers don't lie. And so I get it. I just find it a little boring. And I've noticed on my own channel that there's definitely a little bit of a clash there with the Jonny versus the Spike set, because, I'm making fighter builds, and then I feel compelled to defend myself for ever deviating from the extra attack progression, because Spikes are all like, air DPR goes down! And I'm all like, yeah, but this is way more creative and fun! If you're a Spike, I gotta say, man, there's lots of other channels. I've done the research and I figured out what those spiky strategies are. I choose not to use them. They're boring and they're the same old, and, I'm trying to figure out a cooler, funner way to win. And, maybe I don't, right? Because, like in the NBA, the three-point shot is the most efficient shot, and if you're the best at shooting threes, you're gonna win most games. But I'm still going to try and play the post-up game. I'm going to still try to play from the mid-range and get that skyhook working, even if it's suboptimal, because everybody's shooting threes, man. Like, you really want to watch the Houston Rockets? Not me. So anyway, I think that's about all I really wanted to say about that, I guess. Don't need to make this too long. I thought it was a really awesome heuristic. I think it's a useful way of looking at Dungeons and Dragons. And I think it's important to think about it in this way if you are concerned, like I am, with everyone having fun and understanding that every person at the table is going to be a different mix of these 3 psychological categories. And so every table's different. You're going to have to approach it a little differently. So in any case, let me know what you think about this whole Timmy, Jonny, Spike thing in the comments. I'm always very curious to hear what people have to say. And thank you so much for watching. This has been the Dungeons & Dragons 5th Edition Power Gamers Tactics Room. I'm your host, Jonny Spike. See you next time.